There we go. Hi. I forgot to press the button to put my camera up on the stream. That's embarrassing. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. Welcome. I see there's a lot of regulars in the chat. Hello from a poet. Thank you for joining. Of course, we've got Cassie Isaac. Clearwater Claire was here earlier. Goldie. We love a bit of Goldie action. And all of our favorites. Elron Hubbadub Dub. OMZ, not Alex again. Hilarious. Hi. And hi, Hans Christian Schwartz. Thanks for joining. How's it going? I won't bury the hatchet too much. This video is about what I'm calling the Leah Remini Effect. As we all know, Leah Remini did a show called Scientology and the Aftermath. And I've been doing a bit of digging on Scientology's accounts here in the UK. And there are a couple of statistics that I was looking at that reveal what I think is an indicator Scientology lost half of its staff members here in the UK. And I reckon that it's the impact of Leah Remini's show. So for those of you who don't know, I recently launched a website called Scientology Business. I'm going to bring it up actually so I can show you guys. Share screen. This one. So this is my new website, Scientology Business. It's talking all about the operations of the Church of Scientology here in the UK, and how they operate with shell companies and so on, and what their activities are like here. So go and check it out if you haven't already, scientologybusiness.com. But what I'm going to be looking at today is this article that I released earlier today called Leah Remini, Scientology Aftermath triggered a mass exodus of staff leaving the church. Now, to give you a bit of background, the Church of Scientology here in the UK operate through an Australian registered charity because they are not tax exempt here. So they operate through an Australian registered entity that operates solely in the UK. And as part of their filings with the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission, they have to file really detailed reports and accounts every year that give us a greater insight into Scientology's operation, especially financially, than you can see in the States or anywhere else in the world where they are a little bit more protected. So I've been doing a bit of a project looking into these. There's a couple of articles. Go and check them out if you haven't already. But the one that is particularly interesting for this stream, if you look at when Scientology Aftermath came out, right, it always, as with a lot of things, hold on, let me mute my notifications. As with a lot of TV shows and things here in the UK, we get them slightly after you have them in the US. So if it's a US show, it's not uncommon for it to hit the television screens over there, and then several months later, we get it here in the UK. So there's a little bit of delay. If you look at when Scientology Aftermath came out, for example, season 1 hit European screens on the 11th of March 2017, which is 4 months after it was launched in the US. Season 2 finished in early 2018, and season 3 came to an end in 2019 for us. So we're a few months behind. Now, this is the graph that I think is most telling. This here is the staff allowances, right? So this is the amount of money that Scientology spend in the UK on what they define as staff allowances. You can see here very clearly that it was going up, and then suddenly between 2018 and 2019, there was a huge drop. In fact, it almost halved. It went from what, $4.5 something like that $1 million on staff allowances to just over $2 million. Now, I think this is an indicator it lost half its staff, because there are two types of staff in Scientology. There's the class 5 staff, like I was, working in a city level organization like London, Birmingham, helping getting new people into Scientology. I was the director of public book sales, so I was very much on the front lines. And those are called class 5 staff. You sign a 2.5 or a 5 year contract. and it's a full-time job. Different orgs have different setups, but essentially the one that I was working at and most of the orgs in the UK operate on a day and a foundation basis. So the day staff is Monday to Friday, 9 till 6, and the foundation is the evenings and weekends, 6 p.m. till 10 p.m., Monday to Friday, and all day Saturday and Sunday. So there's two sets of shifts, like two shifts basically, in the same building, and they're counted as two separate orgs. Class 5 staff get paid differently to the C organization. Class 5 staff get paid according to rank and also according to how much money the church makes in the week prior. So if the org makes a load of money one week, staff get paid a little bit more. If they get paid, if the org makes less money the following week, the staff get paid less. There is also the C organization. Now, the C organization, people dedicate their lives to Scientology. You sign a 1 billion year contract. That is a spiritual commitment, dedicating not just this life, but all of your future lives to Scientology, because the belief is that when you drop your body, you come back and you will rejoin the C organization and carry on your contract. Sea Org members live in Scientology berthing. They're provided accommodation and food. And they are paid $50 a week. It is a set rate. Doesn't matter what your job is in the Sea Org. Doesn't matter where you are. You get paid $50 a week. There are reports it does happen that quite often Sea Org members don't get paid anything if they're in trouble, or my chair is very squeaky. If you're in trouble or your stats are down or something like this, your Sea Org pay can get cut quite easily. But you basically either get paid nothing in the Sea Org or you get paid $50 a week. It's not like an hourly rate. Now, the figures that COSRECI, which is the organization Scientology operate through here in the UK, which stands for Church of Scientology Religious Education College Incorporated, that accounts for all of the organizations here in the UK. That's St Hill Manor, St Hill, the advanced organization down in Sussex, the headquarters of Scientology here in the UK. It includes London, Birmingham, and I believe all of the other smaller orgs. So the total number of staff they have that they're reporting through the Charities Commission in Australia includes Sea Org, but also Class 5 staff. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what these numbers mean. So it's not 100% definite they've lost half their staff, because it could just be that they just cut everyone's wages in half, right? That's completely possible. But in the Sea Org, that doesn't really happen. You either get paid or you don't. Class 5 staff, yes, if the org makes no money, then the people will be paid less. So there are some like contingencies to look at this, but essentially, Scientology report that they have 700 volunteers here in the UK to the Charities Commission in Australia. That number has not changed for about 10 years. Every year when they file their accounts, they report they have 700 volunteers, and that hasn't changed. It is an estimate, yes, but it is very much inflated, in my opinion. The reason I say this is I uncovered a video yesterday. I don't have it in front of me. I should have prepared a bit more. Where one executive at St Hill mentioned that at St Hill there are 400 staff members. This is a couple of years ago, but she said there are 400 staff at St Hill. Now, if their 700 staff estimate is correct, that would indicate 300 volunteers are working at the other orgs in the UK: London, Birmingham, Manchester, Sunderland, Bournemouth and Poole, and so on. That is an outright lie if that is the case. There is no way there are 300 staff members working at these Class 5 orgs. When I was at London, the number was not more than 100, and that includes both the day and foundation. It was more likely 30, 40, 50, around that figure. And I have spoken to people since then that left only a year or two ago and confirmed there were no more than 25 staff working at London Org. And London is supposed to be the biggest. It was the first ideal organisation in the UK. Birmingham is also quite large. It may have more staff, but there's no way there are 300 staff. So their 700 volunteer figure is inaccurate. But if we look at this staff wages thing, this is why it's interesting, because even though it includes Sea Org and Class 5 staff, so there's two ways of calculating wages, it is very clear. Look here again, the number went up. They were expanding. They were spending more money on their staff. That therefore suggests they were expanding and had more staff. And I believe that that was the case based on social media. And then between 2018 and 2019, it dropped in half. They spent half the amount of money they did the previous year on wages. Now, when you couple this with the dates that the Leah Remini and the Scientology Aftermath show came out here, I believe this is an indicator that when the show came out, half of the UK staff just left Scientology, right? As I mentioned, it arrived on screens in March 2017, and season 2 finished in early 2018. Season 3 ended early 2019. So the end of season 1 and whole of season 2 and the almost all of season 3 is what we were seeing in the UK the same year Scientology lost half its staff members. I think that's incredible. And I think it just goes to show that the work Leah Remini is doing is, yes, very much affecting Scientology in the States, but it's a global impact. The lawsuit she's currently filing and fighting over in the States, she asks not just for the harassment against her to stop, but against harassment in general to stop. She wants Scientology to cease and desist its policy of fair game harassment. These are things she is doing that is going to be felt and affected all over the world. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and let you know that Leah Remini's work with that show was felt and caused half of the staff here in the UK to leave. Another interesting figure to look at is census data. In the 2021 census, right, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's a form that gets filled out, sent around every 10 years by the government, and it's a legal obligation to fill out this form, and they collect data on how many people are living in the UK, where they live, what their income is, that sort of thing, and the results get published publicly. And there is a question on the census that asks what your religion is. It is not compulsory to answer this particular question. So you have to give it a little bit of leeway in terms of this figure may not be 100% accurate, because people simply could just decide not to answer that one question. But it's a good indicator. 2021, there were only 1,800 people who declared their religion as Scientology on the census in 2021. So if their reported volunteer base of 700 is true, that means a third of Scientologists in the UK are staff members. Even if that number is accurate, that is a very interesting number, right? A third, 30%. That indicates you can't be a Scientologist without there being some sort of expectation you work for the church. Now, you know, that's a whole nother topic in and of itself. But we also have to bear in mind that 700 number is massively inflated and isn't true. But the picture they are painting through their own filings is very revealing and doesn't paint them in the best light. SDA FCATA, it's bloody brilliant what she's doing. Their news on that is better than ours in the UK, of certain people being sacked in their journalist posts. Yes, 100% true. Leah Remini is doing an amazing job, and it is greatly appreciated by all of us. I can't, say enough that Leah Remini has made huge changes to this. Leah Remini is exposing Scientology's abuses, its manipulation, its harassment tactics. As I mentioned, the ongoing lawsuit seeks to put an end to the whole policy of fair game and harassment. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that is what happens. We shall see. But that's the main point of the story. That's why you guys are here. That is what it said. Hold on, Mrs. J, put a 1 in the chat if you smash a like. Thank you, Mrs. J, and thank you everyone for liking. That's very kind of you. A couple of other quick things I want to discuss with you while I'm here. Firstly, this website that I launched the other day, which is scientologybusiness.com. Let me share it again. Since launching this website, which was only... Why is it taking so long to load? Here we go. I only launched this website a couple of days ago. It's like 3 days old, right? And since then, it has been under to the admin page of this website. And although it's not possible to prove that it was Scientology, it is very telling that I launched this website and a bunch of people tried to log in from all over the world, from IP addresses linked to VPNs and linked to the Tor network and so on. On the page where you log into the admin panel, I put a very clear disclaimer that says, by trying to log in, you are consenting to your IP address potentially being published by the author of the website. So if you attempt to log in, I may publish your IP address and you consent to that. So when this site has been under attack, that's of course what I've done. So you can head to Scientologybusiness.com and find the article where you can see the list of the IP addresses that have been attacking and are trying to log in to the website. Now, I am very surprised because I put a call out. I want to increase the cybersecurity of the website to make sure that if there is a wider scale, larger attack that floods the servers and takes the site down, I've got protections in place to prepare for that. And I asked some of you guys to buy me coffee and help cover the cost of that, which was amazing. In 24 hours, you guys have done that. So thank you so much to everyone who bought a coffee and donated for that. I will be upgrading the security and hopefully that means we can be further protected. So thank you to everyone who contributed to that. Another big thing that I want to share is something I did that's a little bit pesky the other day. I went down to St. Hill, the UK headquarters, with a friend of mine who has a drone and is a professional drone flyer. They're licensed and, takes pictures and videos of drones and stuff. And we captured some footage of St. Hill from above, which is now available to watch on my channel. Let me get it up here, actually. Bear with me. Uno momento. So, inspired by someone that did this over in the States. There was someone called, what was his name? Angry Thayton or something like this. Someone took a drone and flew it over the secretive CST bases in America. And I thought, well, no one's done that in the States, so why don't we go and do that? So after work, we went down and flew a drone over St. Hill. And I'm not going to play the whole thing here because you can go and watch it yourself. But this is the sort of footage that we got. It was the end of the day. So it was, sun was setting. It was actually quite beautiful. But that there, is St. Hill Manor, which is where Orrin Hubbard used to live. On the left is St. Hill Castle and the new refectory, canteen, cafeteria building that they built. And it's really beautiful, amazing footage that we captured. So if you want to go and check that out, go and have a look. I am going to be doing a video very soon detailing what exactly we're seeing in this footage. I'm going to highlight what the buildings are and what you're looking at, where they deliver the OT3 material, which is where you find out about Xenu, the galactic warlord that blew us all up with H-bombs in volcanoes, spiritual beings years, 75 million years ago. There's a room where they teach that stuff at St. Hill, and I'm going to point out where that is, and where everything else is. So stay tuned for that. But if you do want to go and see what the UK headquarters looks like, that's there. You can also see the lake, which is very famous, where they throw people in as punishment on the RPF, the Rehabilitation Project Force. So yeah, go check that out. I will start taking questions in a second. We'll do a bit of Q&A. There's just one or two more things I want to say. Firstly, tomorrow I am dropping another bombshell article on Scientologybusiness.com, which is all about what the 2023 UK court ruling means for Scientology. Scientology is not tax exempt here in the UK. They have to pay 25% tax. It's called corporation tax on all of the profits that they make here in the UK. So they operate through the Shell company, this Australian-based registered firm that I talked about earlier. They failed to get tax exempt status because they applied for the Charities Commission in 1999 and were rejected because they failed to prove that they were for the public benefit. Now, there has been a few changes since then in how Scientology operate. In 2013, they applied for basically a marriage license. You have to be declared a religious building in order to perform religious ceremonies for weddings. And in 2013, while I was there, two of my former colleagues, Ali Caucioli and Louisa Hodkin, who's the daughter of Scientology's lawyer Peter Hodkin, they wanted to get married in the church, and it went to the Supreme Court, and there was a very famous ruling that literally redefined religion in British law, and meant that the Scientology church in London could be declared officially as a religious building, and they conducted a wedding ceremony. But that doesn't necessarily mean you are therefore tax exempt in any way here in the UK. So since that point, 10 years ago, there has been an ongoing legal battle that Scientology has been fighting with HM Revenue and Customs, which is His Majesty's tax office, basically, where they are seeking to get tax exemption on a property tax they have to pay, because there is an exemption for places of public worship. Now, tomorrow, I'm dropping an article on how that case went. It came to a conclusion in January, and it did rule in Scientology's favor, which is not a massive thing in and of itself, but it does put Scientology in an interesting place for what is going to happen next with their tax exemption and charity status here in the UK. So watch out for that. It's dropping first thing tomorrow morning. I'm trying to release an article every day on Scientology business, and hopefully we'll go from there. I don't think it'll be every day forever, but just for the next week or so, because I'm uncovering so much looking through all of these documents. Catherine Olson. Hi, Catherine. How are you doing? Eleanor Hodkin Jones is SEALG staff at Columbus, Ohio. Wow, that's interesting. I wonder how she's related to the family. I think she might be a sister of Louisa. Not sure. Erron Hubbard is here with his jokes again. Catherine, who said you could leave your post? Love it. Hilarious. Erron Hubbard, I'm so glad you're back. We've been wondering where you were. The other thing just to update you on is merch. I dropped a bunch of new merch on my merch store, apostatealex.com. If you want to support the channel and kit yourself out with some SBTV merch, there's a bunch of new stuff on there. Not Today Thetan is the one I'm going for at the moment. There's some mugs and t-shirts and stuff. So if you want to go get yourselves kitted out, that would be great. So go and check it out. All right, let's go through some of these questions. Jazzy J, all the channels will have their own insights relative to the Leah lawsuit. This is what I love, similar yet also different viewpoints. Yes, this is what I love about SPTV. The more people that speak out and share these videos and comment and like and subscribe and all of that, the more people it reaches and the more viewpoints there are. In Scientology, you can't really discuss how you feel about things or what you think about policies, because, you know, if you don't agree with it, it's because you've gone past a word you don't understand. So it's really lovely to hear different viewpoints and opinions on different things. And that's one of the benefits of having more of us talking out about Scientology. My experience in London was very different to someone's experience in the SEALG over in LA, for example, but there are so many similarities as well. And that's what I loved finding out from all these people. Clearwater Claire the Taylor. Emily D. Baker was on fire today. I just finished catching up on the show. I'm so glad Aaron was there in chat too, though I'm well jealous of the after chat with them both. I missed that. I'm going to watch it on the replay later today, but I can't wait. For those of you who don't know, Emily D. Baker is a lawyer, a law YouTuber, and she did a video, I believe, today on the Leah Remini case and dissecting that. And I believe Aaron's in touch with her, so that's awesome. Which is also another point I wanted to ask for your help. If you are watching this and you know an accountant or you know a lawyer that is proficient in tax law, in money laundering, fraud, that sort of stuff, I would be very interested to speak to them. They don't necessarily have to come on the channel. You know, that would be great if they want to come and do a video with me, but I am not a professional. And when I'm looking through these accounts and all these documents, I'm coming to conclusions and trying to figure stuff out. But it would be very, very useful and beneficial to run through some of my ideas and some of the things I think that are going on here in their files by someone who knows how that works. So if you're watching this and you're an accountant or a lawyer, in the UK or Australia specifically, please get in touch. Or if you know someone that is, please encourage them to email me at hello@apostatealex.com. As I said, you don't need to appear on the channel. I just want to run something by you, specifically UK or Australia, because I'm looking at the UK operations of Scientology and they are registered through an entity in Australia. So those are the two countries I need a bit of help in. So if you know someone, please put me in touch. Thank you. Cassie Isaac, that was great drone footage. Thank you. I think it was great. It was weird going back to St. Hill because I hadn't been there since I was a Scientologist. So yeah, it was definitely weird. I took a picture outside the front gate, which I shared yesterday, I think it was. And it was just weird. I got no hassle from them at all. I mean, we didn't stick around. I wasn't trying to cause a scene. But yeah, no one approached us or anything. It was quite interesting. But they definitely knew we were there. Jenny Wong, question. Alex, if you are technically not declared, could you pay a visit to either London or Birmingham? Now, this is a really interesting question. Thank you. I'm so glad you asked this. So I was declared a potential trouble source by the Church of Scientology. I was kicked out and I was told to leave. I can't do any services. I have to do a return program and so on. A potential trouble source means that you're connected to a suppressive person, which is someone who's an enemy or someone attacking the church against the church, but not an SP, not a suppressive person. So I presumed by now I would have been declared a suppressive person because I've been speaking out on YouTube for like 6 months or something now. I've appeared on Aaron's channel and so on. And Denver Stevo, who's a lovely regular in the chat, part of the Never Ends crew, for those of you who don't know, called Flag on a live stream the other day. Flag is the Clearwater headquarters of the church. I have a friend who works there and I was concerned about her. I used to speak to her every single day when I was in Scientology. And last time I phoned up Flag to try and get a hold of her and see if she's okay, see if she's still there or not. I was told, you shouldn't be calling this number. She doesn't work here anymore, and it was hung up. And she hasn't replied to any of my emails. So I was concerned. I just wanted to make sure she was okay and establish whether she had been sent to the RPF and, you know, is in some sort of hard labor prison camp, or whether she'd left the Sea Org or moved to a different org. Denver Stevo called Flag and actually managed to get a hold of her. He spoke to her on the phone, and I'm going to be doing a video about it soon, because I then had a conversation on the phone with her supervisor, which was very interesting. And what the supervisor confirmed for me was that I am not yet a declared suppressive person. To this day, I'm still PTS. So in answer to your question, very long-winded, could you pay a visit? Yes, actually. I would, if I was to show up, they probably would not be happy, because they would want me to, you know, book a meeting in advance and let them know and stuff, because I'm supposed to only be speaking to the ethics officer at London Org. So if I showed up, they would try and get me to leave and book an appointment or whatever. But yes, technically I could go. Birmingham, yeah, I don't really know too many people at Birmingham, only a handful, so they probably don't even know who I am. So yeah, I could walk up and go visit them for sure. Mr. J, Birmingham next, please. Yes. So in reference to the drone stuff, I do hope to go and capture more footage of various different Scientology sites. And that's all I'll say on that for now. Catherine, and oh, I've shown that one. I was trying to find your comment, Catherine. Oh, there it is. Eleanor is the sister. There was an announcement about her when she arrived in LA from the UK. Fascinating. Catherine, I will message you after this. I've got a lot of questions for you about that. Suzuki, legendary Stevo. Yeah, for sure. He's awesome for doing that. I am actually going to be featuring, I'm going to be popping in to Denver Stevo's live video later this evening as a little surprise guest. We're going to be talking about the drone footage that I released. So yeah, go and follow him and check him out, and hopefully see you on that channel a bit later. Wayne Anthony Holmes, what is the status of the Cause Over Life site? Great question. Thank you for bringing this up. I actually wanted to talk about this. So the Aftermath Foundation exists to help people leave and escape Scientology. If you're in Scientology and you need help, contact the Aftermath Foundation. They will help you land on your feet. They'll get you a flight home. They'll set you up with accommodation, education, whatever it is you need so that you can land on your feet when you leave Scientology. There are a lot of resources out there that help people that can help people recover from Scientology that aren't specifically that narrow purpose. So what I wanted to do is set up an organization called Cause Over Life, which is the whole purpose is being a resource hub and a landing place for people leaving Scientology and recovering from Scientology wherever they're at in their journey. So if you've been out of Scientology for 10 years and you are still struggling or processing it in your mind and you need some therapy or mental health resources, or want to know what books to read or channels you can watch to educate yourself, that sort of thing, Cause Over Life is going to be a resource hub full of that sort of stuff that you can access for free, and you can find the resources you need. It will help you with the recovery wherever you're at in your journey. So the idea is it actually helps people in a way that the Aftermath Foundation doesn't, and so together the two organizations can really help a great number of people. It started with my journey because I found it quite difficult to process what happened to me, figure out what was going on in my brain, find a therapist who actually knows about Scientology so that you're not just sat there paying them a ridiculous amount of money to inform them about how Scientology works. So I want to kind of use this website to connect people, to recommend mental health resources, and provide resources, basically. The project started about 4 or 5 months ago. I was working on it behind the scenes for quite a long time. I announced it a couple of weeks ago, and it is very much underway. Causeoverlife.org is the website. It is currently up as a splash page because we are building the website. I do hope to launch in the next few months. One of you guys, my amazing followers and subscribers, this community is so lovely and so helpful. One of you guys was watching these videos and got in touch with me, and this person is a web developer professionally, and they offered their time to help build this resource hub in a way that is going to be super easy to use and hold a lot of information and looks really great. So I've designed the site, I've sent it off to this person, and they are currently working on building the site. So hopefully we can have it all set up and ready to launch by the end of the year. That's the plan. Hopefully before then, if possible, but I'm not going to set a date on it just yet because I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. There's going to be 2 stages. The first stage is the website, which is this resource hub, and linking people to different websites and places, and recommending therapists and mental health resources. And then stage 2 is going to be setting up some sort of foundation or charity that can actually help people to a greater extent by using professionals, maybe helping to fund people's therapy or subsidize therapy, or whatever it is they need that the Aftermath, so it's not in conflict with the Aftermath Foundation. I really want those 2 organizations to work together. So that's phase 2. But the first step is really just to get the resource hub up and running before we register as a charity. So that's where we're at. The website's being built. I'm currently collating all of the resources and speaking to lots of people within the community and asking them what would help. What do you think is missing from the resources that are currently out there? What's going to be most beneficial? What would have helped you in your personal journey? So I can get a greater understanding of what sort of stuff needs to go on there. So working on it 100% a lot of the time. Vault Digger. Why do you think staff would leave? They watch the Aftermath show, less people interested in Scientology, and so staff not needed. Great question. So less people interested in Scientology and so staff not needed is absolutely not a thing that would ever happen in Scientology. Scientology is always trying to expand. They would never say to a staff member, oh, we're not very busy, you can go home early, or, oh, we don't need you anymore, make them redundant or whatever. If you signed your contract, you are staying there until the end of your contract, even if the contract is 1 billion years long. So it's not from Scientology's side that the staff would be leaving. My personal suspicion is exactly what you said. People watched the Aftermath show. or people heard about it, or through the grapevine, we're hearing stories about these, what went on in the Sea Org over in the US and globally. And that started to get them questioning, started to get them thinking and wondering, why am I here? What am I doing? And I believe that it's a direct impact of the Aftermath Foundation was people leaving staff. It is also possible I'm completely wrong and they haven't lost any staff. They just decided to pay everyone less, right? But I don't think that's likely. So Wayne, thank you for your question about Cause Over Life. Vault Digger, thank you for that question. All right, guys. Last little chance if you want to ask me anything. Meerkat Moon bought Alex a few coffees earlier. Thank you. Yes, if you guys want to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee. There's a link in the description, and that will really help out as well. But liking, sharing, commenting, that's the best way of supporting a channel because it pushes the video out to more people. Sea Org does not pay minimum wage. Nermin Odkan, thank you for your message. Yes, 100%. When I was on staff at the London Church of Scientology, we were never paid minimum wage. We were classed as religious volunteers, and we got paid a little bit of money each week, £20, £30, £100, £200 at Christmas. But it was always much less than minimum wage because they get around that law here in the UK by classifying staff members as volunteers. Upalai, did Scientology lose a lot of members during the lockdown? That's a really good question, and it's kind of hard to give an answer on that because, as I said, the filings in the UK are not about how many parishioners, it's about how much money they make, how much money they spend, and then there's that number of how many volunteers they have. So we won't know for a little while the numbers and how that affected Scientology until we start getting census data and that sort of thing through. But my suspicion is, yeah, a bunch of people left. People like Catherine Olson, for example, who's in the chat. The Aftermath Foundation helped her leave Scientology around the time of the lockdown. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a big drop around there too. All right, guys. Terry Ray, another amazing supporter of mine. It's also Women on Wednesday, Claire and Amy live in the evening. Yes, absolutely. Go and check out Blown for Good later today. Claire Headley and Amy Scobie, two amazing members of this SPTV community, will be going live later. I'll be there in the chat for sure. And then later on, probably, I can't remember the time, it's something like 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning UK time because I'm living on Pacific time at the moment. Is going to be Denver Steve-O's live stream, which I will be there for. So that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and thank you for supporting the channel. Go and check out Scientologybusiness.com if you want to read these articles that are coming out. There's a new one every single day this week. If you want to buy merch, it's apostatealex.com. If you want to support me and the channel, buy me a coffee, link in the description, and let me know what you guys think of this and what more you want to hear from me and what you want me to cover on my channel, because I'm always open to feedback and want to deliver the content you guys want to watch. So yeah, thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you very soon.